Good evening. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi, and here's what's ahead for you on 7 News tonight. It's one of the biggest and boldest public-private ventures ever attempted, but reviews have been mixed for the launch of the National Bus Company. Tonight, we have the tough questions for the minister and who shot at the former PUP Kaya West representative, Milan Espat, and why hasn't he reported it to the police? We'll have the story. Also, police have the suspect and the murder weapon in the killing of a Costa Rican farm manager on the Placencia Peninsula. Plus, the Senate meets to debate the budget. We'll have the highlights. Also, we'll show you the Wonder Woman final. These stories and much more are ahead on 7 News tonight, so please stay tuned.
Please, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served in really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention. No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
In a democracy, what is good for the government cannot be bad for the people. And what is good for the people cannot be bad for the government.
We came a long way. It's like over 16 years that it was basically like 2-3 houses in that area.
It was wild.
One high bush
Wild
like jungle.
I want to take me lick. Say no water, no light. I tell her no worry about that. We have figured it out.
You know, you wonder how long it will take for this to happen.
A year ago, you were considered squatters.
We made a picado and we came in.
I made a teenager.
Everybody said it was swamp, it was swamp. When we get in here, it was like gold.
Today, you're landowners.
Very
This
happy.
that for we, and we proud of this.
Now we're claiming our house on the land.
We have worked so hard to make this happen for us.
This is a beautiful day, folks, because we are taking care of the people who have taken care of us. Because we wouldn't be here today without you.
No starter homes have been given to any member of my constituency, Mesopotamia. How is it that Mesopotamia did not get a single starter home for anyone in this division? I am telling you, I, as a representative, since I have been there, have received none. Now, one thing I know do, I know lie. I know liar.
That is a lie. The reality is that 7 persons out of Mesopotamia who are registered voters in Mesopotamia have received homes already, and there are a few more that will be receiving homes in a short order. Those 7 people come from the special project on Iguana Street that is right at the corner, that big, huge building that you see. There are 17 persons living in that house, 3 families, 3 single mothers. This entire structure is located in Mesopotamia. So for him to say we have not spent any money in housing in Mesopotamia, I'm not understanding if he's blind. 2 of his people are in Blackberry. There are 2 in Belmopan. You have 1 in Highland. Lee Marchang has received messages from me, and he has said, no, I'm not attending. So if you're not attending, am I supposed to be forcing you to attend? No, can't force you to attend to your people. I can do what I do, which is ensure that your people receive homes, and after that, it's your responsibility to do the rest.
Most of the housing are being built by one contractor.
There are right now currently 135 or more contractors registered and who have built these homes across the length and breadth of this country, from Corozal to PG. These are small contractors. These contractors are hired to build the homes in the area they come from.
That's $186 a square foot.
His entire presentation on that is a lie. The homes cost approximately $129 more or less per square feet, and that includes full plumbing, service entrance, and we have to do a lot of landscaping, we have to do a lot of prep work for the properties, especially in the low-lying areas of Belize. We have had to push in roads for a mile. I think one of the longest roads we've built is a mile or a little bit over a mile. And that is in terrain that is not easy to handle. We've had to remove hillsides. We've had to pull down bushes and do a complete bushing of the entire area. We've had to do culverts. We've had to try to negotiate with BL to push in electricity poles and entire systems. We've had to talk to BWSL to get water. We have tried to improve the quality of the lives of the persons who receive our homes.
Oh, for true? Why? Hallelujah!
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention. No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
At Atlantic Bank, your convenience is our priority. Our contact center is designed to enhance your banking experience. With a wide range of customer service options, you save time and effort. You can easily call in to block or unblock your debit and credit cards, perform account inquiries, and access detailed card information. Whether you need assistance with online banking, merchant support, or general inquiries, Our team is ready to help. For added convenience, if all operators are busy, you can leave your number and an operator will return your call as soon as possible to ensure you receive the support you need. Depending on your transaction type, we may need to verify your identity through a set of security questions. And remember, Atlantic Bank will never request your username or password for Atlantic Online via phone call, text, or email, ensuring your personal information remains safe and secure. Our support team is available Monday to Friday from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. in both English and Spanish. Simply dial 223-1212. This is a dedicated line for our contact center. Atlantic Bank is committed to providing you with exceptional service and the tools you need to manage your finances conveniently and securely. Take full advantage of our easy-to-use contact center services today.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
The roads of Belize connect us all. Riders, drivers, families, friends. Every day begins with a little routine and the confidence that life's journeys are protected. From school drop-off through the daily grind and everything in between, each with different roads ahead, yet one common goal: to arrive safely. Atlantic Insurance stands with Belize's riders and motorists with affordable protection, support, and peace of mind for the journey ahead. For the roads we share and the lives we protect, Atlantic Insurance is by your side, insuring you from life's unexpected. Atlantic Insurance, insuring you from life's unexpected.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We begin our newscast tonight with one of our top stories where, when the price of diesel shot up by 20% 3 nights ago, it sent a shockwave through the economy. One of the most affected sectors is transport and their heavy diesel engines. Immediately, village bus lines posted notices that they were increasing fares by 50 cents per run. But even though the gas pain is real, tonight, the Minister of Transport, Dr. Louis Zabane, is saying that it is completely illegal for any private bus company to raise their fares unilaterally. Here's more.
We have sent out an advisory to all operators, those that are not members of the National Bus Company, and indeed anyone that's running a bus run, if you will, village runs or wherever they are working, that there's a specified rate for operators that must be abided by, a ceiling above which they cannot go. So we saw a couple operators trying to increase their rates, and we have already advised them that they must stay within the regulated fares.
And while the price of a gallon of diesel will continue to be a punishing problem for bus operators, as it approaches the 1-month mark, the National Bus Company has other hurdles to cross. The reviews from the public have been mixed as the chronic problems of the bus industry continue to plague the new company. The minister says that transformation of the sector will not come overnight.
New electric buses should start to arrive in September and phase in up to the end of next year, 2027. And the fleet that is now in place will be gradually replaced by these new buses. These issues started out from 2004, when we had the collapse of the consolidated Novello enterprise. And since then, with new road service permits being given out, we've had the situation become what really motivated us to take this approach of a national bus company owned jointly by the people of Belize through the government, by operators and by institutional investors. We ask the public to understand that this correction, this improvement, cannot be done in 20 days. It cannot be done in 20 hours. And I'm sure some people would have why it happened in 20 minutes. It cannot happen. It will take 20 months for you to start to see the benefits. Why? Because it's not like we got a pool of $100 million at our hands and we can just bring buses and have them all ready all at once.
And with the NBC came a new CEO, Susanna Vanzi. She also discussed the transition, saying that one of the main challenges comes with disrupting practices that employees were already used to when the 17 companies merged.
Many of the challenges have to do with the structures that were not where they needed to be in the past. And so focusing in on that and trying to streamline things to see how we could become more efficient, become more sustainable, and become more focused on serving the passengers. Also existing cultures from different companies, because that's just normal, right? Every company has its own culture. So trying to merge 17 different company cultures into one new culture with one new vision and mission is always going to be a challenge. But I think we've made a lot of progress internally in starting to merge all of those.
And with the employees transitioning, the minister says that the issues start with something as basic as getting them a bank account and getting their Social Security contributions paid, which was not happening when they were working for independent companies.
I feel very, very good about the performance of our management to bring everybody under one umbrella. It's a work in progress, and we expected that, you have companies that are relatively small and some that are larger, and to bring all the personnel to be abiding and following one set of rules, that's going to continue to be a little challenge for the next few weeks, I anticipate.
What are some major challenges that you guys have come across?
So we had to align, for example, the pay period, right? Some persons got paid at different times. So now we have standardized that timing across all the different regions. We also had, of course, concerns about persons not having a bank account in the first place. Getting them used to the fact that they have to pay Social Security and all these things that they might not have been doing before. So that was a task that we had to really focus on in the first couple of weeks.
But the NBC CEO says that with time, the adjustment should be easier, as the employees will soon get their NBC uniforms, along with training for capacity building.
I think they've been very cooperative, and I think they're making their best efforts. I think with time and when we get our uniforms, right now everybody they wear different clothes and who's who's not who. The stickers cover some of the labels, but you can still see the old labels on the buses. So those things will change with time as we progress. And appealing to the passengers to, in their minds, start thinking of this as one company, because our systems operationally will be across the board. So it will no longer be Westline, James. Even though it's the same people that you knew on your James bus and the people that you knew on your Westline bus, they're all the same people that you know and you love. Now they're under NBC. And it's going to be an improvement. We're going to do a lot of capacity building with our staff, a lot of training. That's all coming. And so you'll see the standard rise across the board.
But the minister has a strong message saying that they will be weaning out the corrupt employees who cannot adjust to the standard the NBC must uphold.
All right, and so what has it been like transitioning in terms of the persons that are working, the employees? Have they been able to adapt to the style of management that you guys have? Because, before this, they run their own show. So what has it been like for them?
No, listen, the fact that you have a James bus line or a Floralia or a West line that they have been operating, and in the case of James, the oldest bus line operating, it means that you have had good employees over the years. You have solid people, solid drivers and conductors over the years. But they will be the first to tell you that you have many of them too who sadly are corrupted, and they have to learn that you work hard, you get your pay that you're due, and then the collections that are made are for the company because the buses need to be maintained, right? Other people need to get their salaries, etc. We have to use those funds to, for example, keep improving and maintaining our terminals. So we are appealing to them, right? That, you know, that those practices of the past need to go away now, and it will be the duty of the management of National Bus Company for them to ensure that they have the best people working who are loyal, who are competent, and who are honest. So if there's anybody who cannot meet those standards, I believe they will move away on their own, because those will be the standards that we are going to be enforcing.
And while weeding out employees is one thing, it's quite another to eliminate bad practices, such as standees. Standee culture is something commuters have adapted to for years, but the minister says with time, that will need to be eliminated.
Yes, standees is a problem. One of the things is that a part of the culture was that you had certain drivers and conductors, I won't say all of them, who once they're driving, they are in control of the bus and of the income. And so there was always this race for them to pick up as many. And we know, the whole industry knows for decades that this has been a problem, where all the income is not then put in at the different bank accounts, ultimately for the operators. So this is something we're working on.
And with the NBC on the go, a point of concern for commuters is the availability and frequency of runs. The minister says that they are working to increase them during peak hours. Here's more.
Okay, and so now with the NBC, can we expect to see an increase in runs happen throughout the country?
We are, in fact, working very hard with that, where in the past, because of competition, you would have a few operators leaving certain places around the same time. So in those cases, you might not need as many departures. And then there are other cases in which there are not enough buses. So at certain times, especially during high season, high peak times, we need to add additional buses. So those are some of the things that CEO Vanze and the team are working on right now.
And tracking your travel is about to get easier with a commuter's app on the way that will track the real-time, that is, location of the buses. This will also allow for the bus stops to be the point of pickup of these buses. Here's more.
So what we're working on, and we hope to introduce this even with the fleet that we have now, we will have an app where our commuters will be able to see where the buses are. So for example, if you live in Cotton Tree, you'd know what time the bus, and you could literally see it moving on the highway on your app, on your phone, and know how many more minutes it will be before it reaches Cotton Tree. So in that case, that whole app will be programmed such that there are designated stops at all the villages, and so people would know where they would need to go. That's the case in towns. In big towns, it's not, let me give you, for example, Dangriga. You have the terminal close near the entrance of town by the drums of our Father, but people all the way from Bengoche have to find their way there. So in the same way, the practice that people have gotten accustomed to in villages, that they just walk out of their street or their home, and then they want the bus to stop right there in front. Those are some of the things that We're asking everybody to be prepared to adapt to the fact that now buses will be stopping at designated places.
And with that comes the opportunity for more options. And the NBC is well underway to presenting cashless systems to commuters. It was a practice with the former Floralia bus line, and the NBC will be adopting it as well.
You know, so the cashless system that we've been talking about is one that's still months away. And so in terms of the immediate, which is what you talk about, I think it would be expanding a reservation system like the one you just spoke of, and being able to integrate that to all the different operators.
And we take our first break now, but when we come back, we'll have some crime news. Plus, we'll take you to the Teachers Convention, and we'll show you a new HIV test you can do at home. No needles involved. Stay tuned for more news.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
Finally, a postpaid plan for 3 people. Introducing Smart Trio. Why pay for mobile service alone when you can share and save? Get unlimited national calls, texts, plus 100 gigabytes of shared data. And the best part? It's only $135. That's right, as low as $45 per person. Perfect for small families, couples, or close friends. Smart Trio, 3 lines, 1 smart choice. Sign up now and you could win a Trio getaway to San Pedro for 3. Visit us at www.smart-bz.com for more information or sign up at any showroom today. Smart, bringing people together.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention. No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
I'm Randolph Friesen, and I manage Westville Produce, better known as Granny's Foods. That's our main brand. So we offer high-quality grains, beans, rice, and we also offer corn chips made from 100% locally grown corn. We saw a need for high-quality, locally produced products. A lot of the best products are being exported, and we said, you know, we need to keep some of the best products here in Belize rather than export everything. Atlantic Bank has helped us achieve our goals by providing the financing for us to be able to launch products faster than we would without the financing that they offer. We find that Atlantic Bank is very customer friendly, especially with small and medium-sized businesses. We find that Atlantic Bank is more than willing to go the extra mile. They try to understand your business. So when we go to Atlantic Bank with a certain need, we find that they try to develop a solution that will meet our specific need. I would encourage any small business owner to go to Atlantic Bank for their financial services. They're very friendly, and just overall, their service is excellent.
Now, one thing I know do, I know lie, I know liar. I know liar. Let's take a look at $80,000. And yes, I hear son here, they pay a monthly payment of $100 towards it, stuff like that. And if you divide that by 100, 80,000, you get 800 months. Divide that by 12 months, and it will take a person 66 years to pay for a one-bedroom house. One-bedroom house.
This is why I said when you're going to represent the people of Belize, the least you could do is do some homework. So that is a complete lie again. The project is a project that the government subsidizes quite a portion of it. The only thing that the recipient is responsible for is 12,000 of that. That is paid at $100 a month for 10 years. The government subsidizes all the infrastructure, all the culverts that go in to let them be able to access their home, all the landscaping that is done, all the extra works that need to get done for the home to be a home. Our recipients will own their home at the bargain price of $12,000. As a single mom, I wish this program existed when I needed a home.
This is unconscionable. This is ridiculous. This is not a program for the poor people. For the poor people.
My fight is for them to see what their people are going through. Not to spout the words, to see, to feel, to understand. For them to sit and be taking pictures and smiling and laughing and saying they care about the people, that's easy to do. When you come in and you do the hard work daily for the people, that's what we do at MIDH. We ensure that our people know that we love them, we care about them, and we're doing our best. Our recipients have formed a relationship with MIDH. They know that they can pick up the phone and they can call us, and we are going to try to address the problems that they have. Yes, we have not gotten to everybody, but we are doing our best. We're trying. So my advice to the area rep for Albert and for myself is get back on the ground and know your people.
Oh, for true? Why? Hallelujah!
Drop it like it's hot.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served in really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company, And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking State Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention. No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
En Atlantic Bank, tu comodidad es nuestra prioridad. Nuestro centro de contacto está diseñado para mejorar tu experiencia bancaria. Con una amplia gama de opciones de servicio al cliente, ahorras tiempo y puedes llamar fácilmente para bloquear o desbloquear tus tarjetas de débito y crédito, realizar consultas de cuentas y acceder a información detallada de tus tarjetas. Ya sea que necesites asistencia con la banca en línea, apoyo para comercios o consultas generales, nuestro equipo está listo para ayudarte. Para mayor comodidad, si todos los operadores están ocupados, puedes dejar tu número y un operador te devolverá la llamada lo antes posible para asegurarse de que recibas el apoyo que necesitas. Para mayor seguridad, es posible que necesitemos verificar tu identidad con un conjunto de preguntas sencillas. Recuerda, Atlantic Bank nunca solicitará tu nombre de tu usuario ni contraseña de Atlantic Online por llamada telefónica, mensaje de texto o correo electrónico, asegurando que tu información personal permanezca segura y protegida. Nuestro equipo de apoyo está disponible de lunes a viernes, de 8 a.m. a 6 p.m. en inglés y en español. Simplemente marca al 223-1212. Esta es la línea dedicada para nuestro centro de contacto. Atlantic Bank se compromete a brindarte un servicio excepcional y las herramientas que necesitas para administrar tus finanzas de manera conveniente y segura. Aprovecha al máximo nuestro servicio del centro de contacto.
Atlantic Bank, building the future together.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
We continue our newscast with a story coming out of St. Vite. Tonight, St. Vite police are closer to bringing charges in the murder of a Costa Rican farm manager, which happened on the Placencia Peninsula yesterday morning. 51-year-old Rolando Cespedes was stabbed to death by a neighbor at his apartment in the Maya Beach area. Police told us what they know so far today.
Police have detained one male person in connection with an ongoing investigation into a stabbing incident which resulted in the death of 51-year-old Rolando Vidas Cespedas, a Costa Rican national and general manager of Fife's Banana Farm. The ongoing investigation commenced on Thursday, 26 March 2025 at around 8:30 a.m. when Placencia police received a report of a stabbing incident at a residence located on Placencia Road in Stan Creek District. The officers proceeded to that location where they encountered Cespedes with several wounds to the body. He was rushed to the Placencia Polyclinic. However, he later succumbed to the injuries that he sustained. Though police have detained a male person and we anticipate that an arrest will be forthcoming, we do not have a motive at this time.
Stabbings often arise from persons in close or intimate proximity to each other. Was there any known relationship between the suspect and the victim?
The extent to which I can comment with that question is that we believe that the suspect was familiar with the victim given the proximity within which they reside. I cannot comment if the relationship was something more than that.
Were there any previous reports made of any conflict between these individuals?
As I stated, we have nothing in relation to the motive of this incident. I have confirmed that because of the proximity within which the suspect and the victim live, I'm not saying they're neighbors, I'm just saying the proximity, it is suspected that they were familiar with each other. I cannot say if there was any previous history of dispute between them.
This evening, police confirmed that they have also recovered the suspected murder weapon. Meanwhile, a veteran public officer, Andrew Wade, is spending his second night on remand after he was allegedly found in his Belmopan home with 16 pounds of marijuana yesterday. Police gave us a recap on this incident.
Police have formally arrested and charged Andrew Wade, a 45-year-old public servant of Belmopan City, for the offense of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply to another. The arrest follows police's execution of a search warrant at a residence in the Piscini area of Belmopan in the presence of Mr. Wade. This search resulted in the discovery of 10 parcels of suspected cannabis, which, when weighed, amounted to 16.3 pounds.
I know he's been charged with drug trafficking, but is there any indication that Mr. Wade has been acting or working as a drug trafficker for a period of time?
I will not speculate. I will leave to what is facts, which is that the search warrant was executed at his residence and it resulted in the discovery of that sum of drugs.
Street sources tell us that the marijuana found in Wade's home is considered high grade and has a wholesale street value upwards of $20,000. And now turning back to one of our top stories, Jorge Milin Espat. He's the former PUP rep for Cayo West. And tonight, police are asking him to come in and make a statement. That's after he was shot at yesterday on a property he owns in Benque near the Belize-Guatemala border. In a Facebook post, he stated, quote, "I own a property which borders the adjacency zone with Guatemala. It is my right to walk my land whichever way I please, and also to carry my licensed firearm as long as I am in Belize territory. Well, I was walking the area close to the adjacency zone when someone on the Guatemalan side started firing shots. Someone called the Guat police and they responded very quickly and made a courteous approach to see if everything was okay," end quote. And while he made a post, Belize police say he hasn't made an official statement with them. Here's more.
I have spoken to the officer in command of Benque Viejo Tom, who has advised me that he became aware of the situation via social media. He confirmed that Mr. Espat did not make any report to the Benque Viejo police station, and the commander indicated that he will be reaching out to Mr. Espat to get his commentary on it. The commander of Benque Viejo also told me that he had reached out to the officials in the bordering town of Xochitán, I believe, and they in fact confirmed that there was a disturbance, but they did not provide much information.
And in other news, a 45-year-old man has been charged for killing an 18-year-old in Guinea. It happened at a bar named Hidden Cool Spot where Batun was reportedly having a drink when Rodel Cruz allegedly shot him with a licensed weapon. Police told us more about this story.
As a consequence of the ongoing investigation into the shooting death of Noe Batun, which occurred on 22nd March 2026 in Guinea Grass Village, Orange Walk District, police have formally arrested and charged 45-year-old Rodel Jesus Cruz, a Belizean farmer of Guinea Grass Village, for the crime of murder. Mr. Cruz is the holder of a license for a shotgun.
And continuing with police news, police are closer to coming to a conclusion in the death of Aniswazo, a 21-year-old Kamalote village resident who investigators believe accidentally shot and killed himself 10 days ago. Smith told us what the postmortem found and what the evidence points to.
As it relates to the investigation pertaining to Mr. Swazo, what I can say is that several statements have been recorded, both open statement and caution statement, and the postmortem examination has been conducted. The postmortem examination, the doctor was not able to conclusively come down on any position either side. So it is still an ongoing investigation, and where the evidence takes us, that is where we will go. Those have formed the part of a case file, and it will be forwarded for guidance. However, the indication, as was stated before, is that it is suspected to have been an accident, and the evidence that we have gathered so far is in support of that. However, it is not a closer investigation. We continue to investigate this matter in the interest of being thorough.
Was it self-inflicted?
Yes, the indication that we have received in relation to evidence that we have is that it may have been accidentally self-inflicted. We have recovered the firearm. I do know that it's an illegal firearm. I don't know if the tracing has been completed for me to be able to speak to the history of it.
And police have not gotten any answers from a man who was shot on Wednesday night when he was in his vehicle on the George Price Highway between miles 33 and 34. 31-year-old Javon Clare was eastbound from Belmopan to Belize City when somewhere between St. Matthew's Village and mile 34, a white SUV pulled up beside him and an unknown person fired several shots in his direction, causing his injuries. Police told us they have not had a chance to question him yet. Here's more.
On Wednesday, 25th March 2026, at about 8 o'clock p.m., when police responded to reports of shots being fired in the vicinity of mile 33 along the George Price Highway. Police responded to that report where they observed a Chevy Equinox, which was some 200 yards off the highway, and it exhibited apparent bullet holes. What has been gathered so far in the course of this ongoing investigation is that Claire was driving from the direction of Belmopan City towards Belize City, where upon reaching mile 32, the vehicle he was traveling in was fired upon by an unknown male person who was on board another vehicle.
Any suspects as yet?
No suspects so far. Mr. Clare is listed in a stable condition. However, we have not had the opportunity to speak with him as yet.
Claire is well known to police. Meanwhile, in other news, Nadia Calais remains as president of the BNTU after their two-day teachers convention culminated today at the city center, with the stadium awash in teachers wearing green. This time around, Calais ran uncontested and was endorsed as president. But she said her first stint wasn't easy and she wasn't planning on a second term. But she said the members encouraged her. Here's more.
It feels great. It feels great simply because I see this as members believing in my leadership and the things that I'm doing. So I'm truly grateful for them, for giving me another opportunity to once again serve them.
Before that, were there rumblings of other people wanting to run?
I heard that there were people who were considering. A matter of fact, I wasn't really thinking about running, but members kept coming and asking me to run. And then there was a person who dared me, and I took it from there.
How have those 2 years been?
Rough. It looks easy when you see the benefits, but behind the scenes, it has not been easy. When you're talking leadership of this nature, you have sleepless nights. I am my own Secretary General because we don't have a Gen Sec at the BNTU. So I have to get most of those work done. So I get up and I work until wee hours of the morning. Sometimes I start at 2 and I conclude around 7. Then I hit the road and I come and I deal with the meetings and everything else. So I do both. But the union needs this. I said to myself, I'm going to give it my all to bring it to the level where it ought to be. BNTU has a lot of potential and we have not been capitalizing on those potential. And after listening to members, I realized that it's time for us to capitalize.
And she has big plans for this term.
One of them is connected to institutional strengthening. I have discovered that most of my members don't understand what it means to be a part of a union, how we operate. I need them to get that. The next thing is for us to increase the benefits. Nobody wants to be paying $20, and the only two benefits we have is debt claim and grievance. Members are asking for more. Hence the reason why you notice that I'm partnering with Lands Department, I'm partnering with DFC, I partner with BTL, I partner with Sagicor. There are so many other entities that we partner with to increase the benefit, but in-house, we do need to offer more to our members. So today we have a new due structure that we're presenting because built into that are these benefits that they're asking for.
And now we turn back our attention to one of our top stories. The budget debate continued today, but over in the Senate, where the General Revenue Appropriations Bill was tabled. UDP Senator Patrick Faber explained in his speech that there are two versions of the story being told. The government's version, presented in the budget, and the reality on the streets. He also criticized the government for its tax take on the increased fuel prices. Here's a snippet of his speech.
The government's version tells us that inflation fell to 1.1%. It tells us, Madam President, that the economy grew by 1.9%. It tells us, Madam President, that unemployment is at a historic low. It tells us that it is at 2.2%. It tells us, Madam President, that Belize is surpassing all regional performance, except for Guyana, right? Maybe Jamaica now. The public debt has been cut in half since 2020. Belize shines as a distinctive land. This is what the government's version says. But for the people on the street, Madam President, electricity bill went up in January. For the people on the street, Madam President, water rates went up. My own water rate gone up for about triple what it used to be. Something is going on at BWSL with these new rates. And I don't understand how you could say with a straight face to this nation that inflation is 1.1%. Fuel at the pump has risen so sharply, Madam President, that bus fares will shortly go up as well. I'm confident, not because I say so, because the Prime Minister tell the students in UB, and they ain't seen nothing yet. Barbados, Jamaica, Antigua, and Barbuda have introduced measures to cap their government stake from the fuel prices because, I don't know, I listened to them, the Deputy Prime Minister, they say, well, no new taxes. Yeah. Brother, if the price of gasoline go up and our percentage that you take, then the take that you get as the government also goes up. So the only explanation that we can hear when you say there is nothing you can do about it is that you do not want to do anything about it.
And the debate continues at this hour. The business senator then rose to point out what he says is a critical error in the budget with revenue projections. Here's more.
I saw this year, or in this new budget, I'm seeing a move away from the conservative budgeting that we've seen in previous budgeting cycle to a more aggressive approach. even though the operating environment is signaling caution and for us to be careful. You will note that total revenues underperformed by 5% or $87 million in the previous fiscal year. $1.74 billion was budgeted, and the projected outturn, or what we actually expect to collect, was $1.65 billion. Now, Madam President, the government is projecting total revenues of $1.79 billion for 2026. This represents an increase over the past year's actual of $139 million, or this is an increase of around 8.4%. Madam President, this is an extremely critical issue in my view. This is what I believe makes this budget in many respects unrealistic.
And in other news, the sugar industry and cogeneration project bill was also debated today in the Senate, although it had moved from the House in December of last year. The bill seeks to extend tax and duties exemptions for BSI and Belcogen for the continued development of the cogeneration energy project. But the union senator, Glenfield Dennison, said that the focus should be placed on paying the BSCFA farmers their fair trade premium. He also added that the government should start using AI to write its bills. Here's more.
This is a real number. $1 million in a fertilizer. That we know. That's a number we know. That's how much the government, I believe, offered farmers. Conditionally, but at least it was offered. We want it. The farmers want it. No conditions. Left me case alone, we're going to test it. We're going to CCJ if we have to. All the board try hard and pull the farmers. Then no. Then people understand dollars and cents. And $1 million in a fertilizer now can't do nothing for them people when they do their fair trade premium. Pay the people their fair trade premium, then we could talk about this. My estimates, not me, sorry, not me. I couldn't estimate it. The AI had to do it. Straight. The AI do it. I couldn't know. I'm not afraid for telling no. I'm not afraid for my AI, though. I could tell them that. And I don't use no chat, nothing. I use real AI. Good. And then I use my brain too. Good. And the brain of technical people who know what to put in. Good. Correct. And you want solutions? They hear then they ask for solutions down at the house. You could ask the AI to give you solutions too. They could draft a new bill too. Bam, see it ya? Give the AI 10 minutes. Yeah, blow your mind. We need to start use AI in the government, you know. But I guess that I take all the discretion for the hustling, so maybe not. On one side, the multinational. On the next side, you got the Belizean farmers, the BSCFA, who are in a struggle, who are litigating to receive their fair trade premium. The question before us is simply this. That's what this bill is about. Madam President, do we prioritize multinational profits, or do we stand with the Belizean farmers?
Meanwhile, last night we discussed the two new policies implemented by the Ministry of Health and Wellness, one of them being the National HIV Self-Testing Policy. Our very own Jaleesa Roberts walks you through what the experience taking a self-test is like using her colleague Courtney Menzies as the subject. Here's more.
HIV self-testing gives people a private, convenient way to know their status early, helping them access treatment sooner and prevent further transmission.
And now that we're back in the office, we got our own test, and I will be having one of my coworkers demonstrate what it's like for you guys at home.
Belize is one of the few countries in the Caribbean that has systems in place to support self-testing. Courtney, being our test subject, opened the kit, which came with the instructions on how to go about and all the pieces, making it a user-friendly experience.
Press the flat pad firmly against your gum and swab it along your upper gum once and your lower gum once. Like this way?
Yeah, upper, lower.
Okay, here it goes. Put the flat pad all the way into the tube until it touches the bottom. Leave it there for 20 minutes. 20 minutes!
Get ready? That is that time.
Before reading the results.
And within those 20 minutes, we were able to ask Courtney about her experience waiting to find out if she was reactive or non-reactive.
It's like waiting for a pregnancy test. It's that same feeling you get. And hoping for a negative.
How does it feel taking this?
Kind of scary. You never know. I was living in ignorant bliss. No, but I think this is like to be able to take a test without having to draw blood. That is my dream because I am very scared of needles.
So do you think that this will encourage more individuals to want to take the test?
I think it should. I think these should be available. Like, you know, when you walk into clinics and they have condoms and stuff, I think this should be available in the same way as somebody could just walk into a clinic, BFLA, one of those places, and just be able to pick this up and take a test at home, and then to see if they need to get further treatment or whatnot.
Have you taken an HIV test before?
This is my first HIV test. I know I should have been taking it.
I see why you're nervous.
Exactly.
And the feeling isn't new, especially within younger men, the demographic which is seeing the greatest number of new HIV cases. Despite the widespread availability of testing, many choose ignorance.
I think they have a false sense of security. I don't think people use condoms as much as they used to a few years ago. I think people are really just, I guess the whole notion of you catch HIV, you're dead, that's it, that's in your life, that isn't there anymore. And so people, they just don't use the protection that they need to be using.
But what self-testing does is create an environment of which persons can get tested without stigma. And after the 20-minute wait, here were the results.
One line, non-reactive. I am HIV free.
So how do you feel right now?
Relieved.
Talisa Robert, 7 News.
And self-testing kits are available at any NAC office. And we take a break now, but when we come back, we'll take you to the Wonder Woman final, where Belize's ladies in uniform competed for physical dominance and bragging rights. Stay tuned for more news.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now The Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention. No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
The Feinsteins built the tourism village, brought cruise tourism to Belize, helped build this industry from the ground up, and created thousands of jobs. And when Belize needed a deep water cruise port, the Feinsteins went on to develop Stake Bank Island, a Belizean family investing in Belize and building for Belizeans. But instead of supporting Belizeans, this government chose to undermine the project.
The government has colluded with a bank to seize from a private owner.
No, the state is stealing his land.
There was some collusion going on, that there was some inappropriate activity even in the judicial process, and that there were players involved who have strong political capital because they're either currently serving in office, formerly served at really high levels of office, who are deeply involved with this.
They said it was for a public purpose.
But they're acquiring it for a private company.
So this government took away the Feinsteins' land, took away their project, gave it to a private company. And now this same government is building another cruise port at the port of Belize. So what was the public purpose of taking Stake Bank? And now the Foreign Affairs Minister is upset that America is paying attention. No, Francis. This is on the PUP. It's no longer just local politics. Washington is watching. It's not going unnoticed.
And could lead to sanctions, right? OFAC sanctions, which would be devastating.
Belize, you're watching the Nation Station, Channel 7.
And we continue our newscast with one of our top stories, the Wonder Woman final. They ran in the pouring rain and climbed obstacle courses in the beating sun, all for the title of Wonder Woman 2026. Well, today was the final leg of the competition, known as the Crucible, and we stopped by this afternoon just in time for the most intense challenge, a series of obstacles. Our very own Jo Marie Lanza was there, and here's her report.
It was the Crucible, the final obstacle course that determined who would be this year's Wonder Woman champions. Not only is it a physical test, but a moment that defines their mental toughness as well, summoning every last bit of strength to push through till the end.
The past 3 days has been simply stunning, amazing, as we watch the women in the security forces compete for the coveted title of Wonder Woman. And so it has been an awesome event. We've seen from day one with the run, the swim, the APFT, the fitness tests that they've done, culminating with what we call the Crucible this afternoon. As you may are aware, this morning we had our march and shoot competition, which involved an 8-mile march on the road and then a shooting competition at the Hatterville range. This afternoon, as you can see behind me, we have our women doing what we call the Crucible, which involves 4 components really. You run with the cleats, the log, you then engage the tire, you flip the tire, and then you negotiate the obstacle course and finish off with climbing the rope. So it's very challenging, it's gruesome, but as you can see, our women are right there in the grind, in the grit, getting it done.
Would you say that today has been the most challenging?
Today is the most challenging day, and this is where it really tests your mental fortitude. You've got to win that conversation in your mind, because the body has taken a beating over the past few days, and today being the last day, it's really challenging. But our women have stayed in the fight, and they've been competing really well. So we're proud of all 3 teams: the police team, the Coast Guard team, and the BDF team.
It was the Coast Guard who dominated the challenge last year, but this year they let the Wonder Woman crown slip from their fingers. Undaunted, their adjutant Tifara Welch says they will be back next year stronger and ready.
Well, it was a very challenging day. The girls are tired. This is the last day. It's nothing but guts today. So they pushed as best as they could. They gave it all they got, and now we're here at the end.
You think you did a good job at defending your title from last year?
I think we did the best that we could. We had some snags along the way, but you know, there's always room for improvement. Next year we're going to come back and we're going to be ready, and we'll take it back next year. It takes a lot of coordination, a lot of running around for months trying to put this event together. So to see the support that we have here behind these women, especially as a grand finale to the Women's Month, this is just awesome to see.
The Belize Police Department also persevered in the final challenges, and that's what brought them to second place.
We did great. I believe in my girls. Like I told my girls that when we started, BDF and Coast Guard, physical is their bread and butter. For us policing, as you know, we are more writing, we are more behind the desk, we're more investigation. So we don't have the time like the Coast Guard and BDF do have. So I know that my girls, my team, they bring all what they had to bring. We only had 2 months and a half to get prepped for everything that we do. So we did great. I believe we did great. We bring out our all. Like I told the girls, the beast was out for us.
What would you say has been the most challenging part of this competition?
The most challenging part was the march and shoot that we had. That was this morning. We did the 8 miles and the shooting. So the 8 miles was that we carried 30 pounds with the vest. The gun was about 10 pounds. Your helmet was about 5 pounds. So basically you're taking about 45 pounds on you. And if your partner fails, like can't take it anymore, you have to be the one to come and take it. So in my case, I had to help one of my teammates. So I was taking 90 pounds on me. And that was a real challenge, but we still pushed it. We still made it. And then with the shooting was we beat the shooting with Coast Guard and BDF because, and we said that because policing is not something that we have our personal weapon like Coast Guard and BDF. They do have their personal weapon. We don't have. We just practice with what we have, but we beat them this morning. But that was challenging, but we still made it.
But it was the Belize Defense Force that captured the winning medal through team effort and persistence.
Today, really well. We had an excellent run for our march and shoot this morning. Our shooting plan didn't go according to what we had hoped, but I think we still did well. We're very tired, but personally for me, today is the best day, the most fun day. I love the obstacle course, and I love shooting, so today is the most fun day. I think we tore it up. We came in with a strategy of teamwork and sticking to the plan, whether it works or not, and it worked for us. So I'm extremely happy with the team, the girls, the coach, Corporal Villafranco. He did a really good job with us, and we came out here to win, and we did just that.
Jo Marie Lanza, 7 News.
And the BDF won with a total of 670 points, followed by the Belize Police Department with 620 points, and finally, the Belize Coast Guard with 519 points. And in other news, commuters in the Belmopan area will now be able to take advantage of a renovated space at the Belmopan bus terminal. Today, half of the renovated terminal was unveiled, and it features improvements that project a fresh, new aesthetic for the battered Belize bus industry. Our very own Jaleesa Roberts reports.
Today, half of the renovated Belmopan terminal was unveiled, and this upgrade marks major progress from one that didn't meet basic standards. This upgrade comes with air conditioning, new ticketing booths, new seating, and even new vendor stalls. After 3 months of renovation by Coleman Construction, it is finally complete, with the other half to be finished next. When done, it will be able to seat about 250 to 300 persons. At the unveiling, NBC CEO Susanna Vanzi outlined what this means for commuters.
Today is not just about a physical upgrade. It represents something much larger. It speaks to the investment in people, investment in public service, and in the systems that connect our communities every single day. From a development perspective, improvements like this are critical. Safe, functional, and well-managed transportation hubs are essential to the economic activity, accessibility, and national growth. They allow people to move with dignity, reliability, and confidence. But beyond that, this terminal belongs to the people of Belmopan and the wider public. It is a shared space, one that should reflect pride, order, and opportunity.
And this renovation is simply a preview of coming attractions, as CEO Chester Williams confirmed that more is coming. But he is calling on citizens to care for their improvements.
I am pleased to say to you that at the beginning of the next fiscal year, we will see that the compound and the other half of this terminal will commence renovation. While we enjoy the nice atmosphere, Mr. Shah, you're the manager of this area, you will have an extremely difficult task in making sure that the good work that has been done here is not destroyed quickly. We know how people go. Our Belizean people, they complain, and when you give them what they want, they quickly destroy it. Maintenance is going to be critical because at the end of the day, if we don't maintain what has occurred here, very quickly we'll see it deteriorating.
We have seen that many of the improvements have become victims of destructive tendencies. The Belmopan terminal is the first glint of hope of a promise of what is a changing transportation industry. Dr. Louis Abene, the Minister of Transport, said that more terminals will be seeing renovations as well.
We have already started to do some renovations at the Dangriga terminal. Some renovations have occurred at the Independence terminal. A new terminal in due course will be built in Punta Gorda, a new terminal in San Ignacio, one in Benquevejo, and a new one in Orange Walk. The one in Belize City, we will be moving over to a new facility that will be built on the Chatamal Boulevard area. And then we must work quickly on Corozal.
A plan for rapid progress and for a commuting community that suffered years of neglect and substandard operations. It can't come quickly enough. Jaleesa Roberts, 7 News.
And with the Belmopan terminal getting its overhaul, the Belize City terminal will be seeing new renovations in the interim before the new terminal is built in the Chetumal Street area. With a new budget, the terminal will see upgrades to make it more amenable to commuters. Here's more.
There will be a renovation at the Belize terminal, as CEO mentioned, CEO Williams mentioned earlier. The government has, in this budget, allocated $2.4 million. Part of it which will go to the facility here at this terminal in terms of especially the parking area, and then Belize City. So Belize City will need to receive urgent upgrading because a lot is to be desired there. And then the terminal, which will be the crown jewel in Belize City, will take a few years to build. So in the meantime, we cannot have our people still suffering.
And now turning our attention to some regional news. As Secretary General, Belize's Dr. Carla Barnett holds the most senior post in Caricom. And earlier this week, the current chairman of Caricom, Dr. Terence Drew, announced that she had been approved to hold another term. When the current one ends in August, he said the decision was taken at the heads of government meeting in February. However, tonight, that announcement is under scrutiny after Trinidad's Minister of Foreign Affairs said in his country's parliament that Trinidad and Tobago was completely blindsided by Barnett's reappointment. He questioned the transparency of the process. Here's more.
This information came as a complete surprise, especially because the issue of the pending end of Dr. Carla Barnett's term as Secretary General and her proposed reappointment was not, and I repeat, Mr. Speaker, was not placed on the agenda for the 50th regular meeting of the conference. Accordingly, the surreptitious nature in which the Secretary General of Caricom is allegedly to have been reappointed has done irreparable harm to the institution.
And how familiar are you with our women Belizean creatives and artists? You can now get to know 46 of them in a publication that catalogs their lives, backgrounds, and creations. The Imagination Factory released the 116-page book, Know Ourselves, earlier this week. And today, we spoke to one of the researchers, Katie Numi Usher. Here's more.
We all decided, on about 7 or 10 artists each to talk a bit about their lives and their works and their contribution to Belize. All of this, I must say, is thanks to the Imagination Factory, turning 30 years last year, completing their 30th anniversary, and they wanted to do something that would be even more inclusive of women in the arts. And so they invited myself, Ilona Smiling, Brahida Haylock, and Ingrid Cayetano to come up with some names of women we would like to highlight when we think about Belizean culture, Belizean contemporary, and to share their stories with the world. And so it's a project that we started last year. It was a year of collaborating, researching, investigating, interviewing for the artists who are still alive, getting in touch with them. And each artist or each contributor had a different set of ideas with how they would approach it. For example, Ilona in the launch mentioned that she sent each artist a set of questions. And so based on those, it was like an interview style. Some of the artists that I featured have now passed on. So I just relied on information I was able to find in the archives, the Belize Archives and Record Service in Belmopan, based on old newspaper interviews and different things. And then there's a component where Yasser Musa, as the director of the Imagination Factory, did interviews with each of us about our own art practice and our experiences as artists, women artists in Belize. The more we can know about art in Belize and artists now, artists before, artists that are contemporary to us. The more we can know about them, the more we can know ourselves. And that's essentially what we would like to have happen with this project.
And if you want a hard copy of the book, it is priced at $50 and can be purchased from the Imagination Factory. But it's available for free online at the 501 Academy, and you can find a link to that one on our website. And that's all we have for you on 7 News on this Friday night. Thank you so much for watching. I am Miriam Abdul-Kawi. You can find a full transcript of the news at 7newsbelize.com and see the streaming video on our Facebook page. Have a good night and a great weekend, and join Indira Craig back here on Monday at the same time. Have a good night, folks.